Everyone, James, would you like to start this guy?
Sam, can you first start with an injury? Did everyone come through unscathed last night?
No, I know our injury problems are too extensive for us at the moment. I think that looking at the injury list this morning, whereas we got through most of March and into the beginning of April, where our team didn't need to be changed, and the only changes we were making were tactical. We're now faced with quite a long list of injuries. If you include the long-term injuries which we've got with Ben Arnold, Dan Tompkins, Soiree, MacArthur, Cabaye last night, Connor Wickham long-term, Fraser Campbell, Lorik Remy. So we're really thin on the ground now with the amount of games that were coming up. So hopefully our medical staff can work vigorously in the next week to 2 weeks to get as many of these players back on the pitch again, because having seen last night's game, I think that so much effort went into Chelsea. We were a little fatigued still in the game last night. Not saying we still should have got a point for me, but we didn't look as sharp as we have been throughout March, and certainly at Chelsea.
How's Johan Cabaye? What's the nature of his injury?
It's a calf injury, so we'll see how that settles down and see. It shouldn't be too long, but you know, with the amount of games we've got coming up, like this week, if we've got that injury list, if they're only injured a week, they miss 3 games, you know. So we want to get those boys back as quick as we can and playing again, and that will help us in our fight to stay out the bottom 3 at the moment.
Is Cabaye out the Arsenal game?
Yes, I'd have thought so, yeah.
Is there anyone else coming back for that game?
Maybe James MacArthur, but he hasn't done a huge amount of football since his back spasm, and obviously Joe Ledley is back after his wife had given birth, so congratulations to them.
4 wins on the bounce before last night's game. How do you ensure the momentum isn't lost?
Well, I thought that we should have seen the game out on a probably a below par performance for us, but we should have seen the game out at 1-1. So I'm going to focus again on the defensive side of the team, particularly how easily we gave those last 2 goals up. We all know what should have happened on the first goal. Should have been a foul. That wasn't given, but then again, we should have defended that better and not let it result in a goal. So I'll be going through the defensive side of those goals we conceded, because we've never looked like conceding goals like that for a long time now.
You've got arguably the toughest running of the teams down at the bottom, but the bookies don't have you to go down. A lot of people aren't predicting that you'll go down. Why do you think that is?
Maybe the past experience that they've had in saving teams in this position, the quality of the players that we've seen over the last 4 games hitting their more like their potential in terms of their performance. But it is a tough run in, and it's going to go right to the wire, I think. In the end, who can hold the nerve is normally the big key to success when the pressure's on you at this level, going into the single figure game mark. When that bell starts ringing, the time is running out. You've got to be very brave and stand up and be counted in those situations if you want to survive and be in the Premier League next year.
You've been in some tough relegation battles, but where does this one rank, do you think?
At the moment, we've eased the pressure because we won 4 on the trot, but we're still a long way to go to getting ourselves our safe. But we've given ourselves an excellent chance of avoiding relegation now. So I would be very disappointed, having worked so hard to get this chance, that we throw it away in the last 8 games. Is it 6, 7,
No.
8?
9.
9. Has it only played 29? 30 we've played.
8. Yeah.
Thanks, lads. Lasses. So we got 8 games. I think 8 points would be enough.
So with that in mind, how important is the result against Arsenal?
As important as last night's results would have been, you know, I think that's even more important that we make sure we don't lose against Arsenal. And like I say, it's not arguably that we've got the hardest running. We have got the hardest running. There's no doubt about that. But we are in good form at the moment, and hopefully that form will continue. And more importantly, the results will come with it.
What do you made of Arsenal at the moment? In particular, some of the anti-Wenger sentiment coming from the fans. What have you made of that?
It's the norm today. It's what you have to accept across the board as a manager, that there will be criticism thrown your way at some stage if people don't think you're achieving what you should achieve. So we've all had it, and we've all get it, but we're all tough enough to deal with it, and we all know that what we are and what we've done over, well, certainly Arsenal over many years, means that he's been an outstanding manager in this league for 20 odd years. So I'm sure he'll be fighting with his players very hard to put things right. And of course they had a very good victory last night, 3-0, which showed they bounced back. And as always, it'll be a hugely tough game for us because of the quality of their players on Monday night.
As a manager, do you think you have an obligation to your fans to let them know your future plans, or is it up to you?
Not particularly. I think that's a conversation that the club has. The club does, not Arsenal himself. The whole club decides whether you're going to make an announcement or not just the manager.
Okay, thank you. Mike?
Hi Sam, you spoke on Tuesday about previous teams that you've managed having beaten one of the top 4 or 5 sides, then going on to lose their next game. Do you feel that was the sort of the curse of that game last night? Was it really after all?
It was. I think that like I said in looking back at the game, while ours was an under par performance, we really shouldn't have let that happen last night. Going into the last 8 minutes and obviously putting an extra defender on to try and stop the wave of attacks from Southampton at that time, which would have left them, had we used the ball better, would have left them exposed because they were overloading and leaving themselves very open to the counter-attack. But we couldn't find the sort of passing movements that we found against Chelsea and West Brom, that we could exploit those spaces that they left, and hence we faltered under the pressure in the end.
Is there a sense of frustration from yourself and the players that you have still won 4 out of the last 5 and yet just find yourself still 3 points above the relegation zone? It's so congested, isn't it?
I don't. No, it's not frustration. It's just the fact that we've given ourselves a massive chance to get out the problem we're in. It just shows you how deep our problem was before we went on this run. I mean, had we not done what we've done, we'd be dead and buried nearly now. So we've, like I said, we've given ourselves a great chance to haul ourselves still out of the bottom 3 and safety at the end of the season. But it's tough. It's really tough, particularly mentally, particularly on the players mentally. It's really tough because the pressure builds when you get into single-figure games, and it's those who are able to cope and deliver on those games where that extra pressure seems to bring more out of them. That's what we're actually looking for between now and the end of the season.
Try and take some positives from last night. There was another goal for Christian Benteke, 2-2 from him now.
Brilliant.
For Belgium.
Yeah, excellent goal as well. It just showed that had we done more of that type of play last night, we really sliced open Southampton's defence pretty easily, but unfortunately we didn't do that enough in the game, and like I said, gave too many simple balls away, too many easy passes went astray, too many poor clearances, which particularly the second goal ultimately cost the second goal. So wasn't our normal game that we've been achieving recently, and with the amount of ball we had that we wasted, it really was probably in the end our own fault we lost the game.
And you mentioned the run-in earlier. How difficult is it to not look further ahead than the next game when you've got the likes of both Manchester clubs, Liverpool, Tottenham still to play?
Well, I think the boost of confidence for the players is that we can get points against them, because we've just proven that with Chelsea. That's what we've proven to ourselves, that any given day, any one game, no matter who it is, we can get a result. So we've got to take confidence from that and run those teams coming on. But for me, it's just going to be just as hard to beat Leicester and Hull City and Burnley as it is Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool or Tottenham, or Arsenal. So they're all tough in their own way, and we've all got to get about and do the job properly.
And, final two from me again on the injuries. Cabino, you say a doubt for Monday night. I guess the flip side of any manager when he's faced with such a lengthy injury list is that it is a time for other players to step up. That's why you have a squad, I guess.
But we didn't really step up last night. That's my worry. So we used a new back and two in a new back four, really, with Patrick being out and Schluppy coming in, and then Martin Kelly, then having put Damien Delaney. So we're disrupting what's been a very secure defensive team that's been the backbone of getting our results, and then able to change because the subs bench is pretty weak at the moment. You're loath to change because you want to bring fresh legs on, but at the moment we had one youngster on the bench, so you want your experienced players who've seen it all before, if not playing on the bench, to come on and make a difference, which is part of why we won 4 games on the trot. But it's when the squad diminishes with injuries like that, it makes life really tough for you when you're looking to get a result at this stage of the season.
And just finally for me again on Arsenal, you've touched on the criticism that Arsene Wenger has faced, some of it really harsh. Do Arsenal fans need a bit of a reality check? Almost 20 years in the top 4.
It's expectation, though, and it's the fact that unfortunately for the competition now is so much fiercer for an Arsenal, for a Man City, for a Liverpool, for a Chelsea, for a Tottenham now. So that those 5 stroke Everton looking more likely to become another challenger means that even Champions League places are becoming very difficult to achieve now. So the competition is so fierce, and the expenditure that you have to spend to try and stay in that competition at that end of the table, and or even go better and win the league is a massive demand on every football club.
Thank you. Robert from BBC London.
Sam, you've got a game in hand on 2 of the teams below you, Hull and Swansea. Is that a benefit, or given the toughness of your running, is it that?
Well, that game in hand is Tottenham at home, so it's not an easy task to take full advantage of that, because you can see the form Tottenham are in at the moment. I think that they've got a genuine belief that they can perhaps catch Chelsea this year, because they, maybe it wasn't this early when they faltered last year, but when they were 1-0 down with only a couple of minutes to go last night, and then end up winning 3-1, shows the desire that they've got. So that's game in hand, this Tottenham, which is going to be obviously a difficult one for us, because it comes on the Wednesday night, having played Liverpool away on the Sunday night. So we've had no favours really with the Premier League making us cram that fixture into that week. We give them alternative dates that they rejected, unfortunately, for us. And then we play Burnley at home after that one on Saturday. So it's going to be tough that week for us. 6 days, 3 games, but we've got to face it, and that's why I want these injury boys fit. I need these injury boys fit, particularly for that particular week, because there's no doubt I will have to make changes throughout that week to try and get results.
And the home form will be crucial, given that there are 5 games left.
Well, at least we've made a little bit of home form recently, which has been been the club's downfall this season. You know, you look at the away form and where we would sit in the Premier League, we would be nowhere near threatened with relegation. You look at our own form, at least we've picked it up a little bit. If we can win on Monday night, I think it's a 3 home wins on the trot, which, you know, 3 or 4 weeks ago you wouldn't have expected that we'd been able to achieve that, but we may if we play our best on Monday night.
And just finally from me, you talked about the pressure on the players in the run-in. Times like this, how much do you draw on the experience of your previous relegation back to the Premier League?
Well, I try and let the players know what to expect and what they need to do to overcome that pressure and deliver the best, and that's by my planning and giving them the information that they need to carry out on the field. The big task for the players is executing that information on the pitch, to keep a clear mind and a focused mind, which can get confused under pressure, and that's where you try and guide the players through those stages and make life for them, knowing what they need to do in their particular position or as a team against the opposition. So we give them a clear picture and hopefully they can take that on the field and execute it.
Thank you. Giuseppe.
So 38, 39 points should be enough to stay up. With that in mind, how many teams do you think are still involved in that?
Well, you never know. I mean, you can change it around so many times now. I thought that 2 weeks ago the bottom 7 of us would be probably ended up fighting out between us. It's changed dramatically since then, like I mean, because Bournemouth were on a good run. They were on a 10-game without a win run. They've turned that around now, and now Burnley looked like they were slipping down, but nicked to 1-0. West Ham are on the lower side of that. We played Watford and got very close to them. Now they've won a couple of games, so it's chopping and changing very, very quickly, because all those teams down there are Hull City started to achieve results like ourselves. Swansea had a flash of really good results in the early stages. When they got the new manager in, we're on that run at the moment, so we've got to try and continue that. So it's chopping and changing rapidly at the minute. So I think obviously West Ham have got dragged into it. You know, whoever's going to put a 2 or 3 game winning run together now is going to be the one that gets safe very quickly. That's what you've got to try and achieve.
Jason Blanchard as well, you've made him captain in recent weeks. How do you think he's taken to the role?
Very good. I think he's you know, in terms of captaincy, there can be no prouder captain than Jason Punch, because he's Palace through and through. So I said that from the start, like you mean. So I think he's handled the situation very, very well. A very difficult situation for us all. Excuse me. But captain is, I don't think, burdened him at all.
Is he a natural captain, do you think?
I don't know what a natural captain is, do you?
Is he a leader? Is he vocal? What sort of captain has he been?
I think you've got, as a captain, you lead by example first, about how hard you work and about how you're willing to put your performance in, and then obviously if you can help anybody else when you're on the field, then do that. He's experienced enough now to give that information, of course, and of course everybody on the pitch, if the captain's giving information out, should respect that information, because he's only trying to help the team to one thing, and that's win a game.
Okay, just one from
So
James.
just one more on Arsenal, Sam. It could be the last time we faced Arsenal, I think, if we did call time at the end of the season.
I'm not speculating on whether Arsenal's not going to be here or not. I just think he just should still be here personally. But I mean, I've always enjoyed the battles, because they've been going on from, well, at many different clubs for me. Of course, he's been in the one club. I've had 6 Premier League clubs since he's had that one since 2001. Yeah, I've always you know, playing at the Emirates, particularly now, it's a fantastic stadium. And to try and achieve the result against the big boys when you're a manager is always when you're at the smaller club is always great. And if your team plays its best, and sometimes the big boy is not quite on the song, you can win a football match. But he's a quality manager, and has been a quality manager since he arrived at Chelsea. And we've got so many quality managers in the Premier League now. It's just a pity that not enough of them are British.
Okay, thank you. That concludes the broadcast section. We'll take